Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'd ask you to take your seats, please. We're running a little bit late, so we have to get started. You'll see the program up on the side. We're running a little bit late, as I said, but we're generally following that. But before we begin, I would like to start by giving the land acknowledgement. And I'm going to be using the words that Martin Morrison shared in his presentation during this conference. I would like to begin by acknowledging that we are gathered here today on Mi'kmaq, the unceded and unpurchased territory of the Mi'kmaq Nation, specifically Chubuktuk, or Halifax. This territory is covered by the treaties of peace and friendship, which Mi'kmaq and Wolastoqiyik Maliseet people first signed with the British Crown in 1725. The treaties did not deal with surrender of lands and resources, but in fact recognized Mi'kmaq and Wolastoqiyik title and established the rules for what was to be an ongoing relationship between nations. All MSVU events and course interactions, whether online or physically held here at the university, benefit from the use of this stolen Indigenous land. We're now going to be moving on to a guided meditation that's going to be led by Ashwani.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. We are just going to do a very small, peaceful meditation. It's a musical evening, so it's a musical meditation. Can I invite all of you to close your eyes and sit comfortably? You don't need to look at me while your eyes are closed. And I'm sure you all have heard the word humming. It's very important for singers, but humming is a very natural sound. So, and it's a traditional Tibetan Buddhist meditation, which is very soothing. So basically what you do is, you do this. So if we all try it together, then it's really beautiful and it's soothing. So when you are creating this sound, feel the vibrations to heal you, to bring peace in you. And often my students in class, some of them start giggling. So if that happens to you, that's more than welcome. Giggle. If humming brings giggle in you, that's all good. So please close your eyes, and we will do it for a few minutes. Thank you. I hope you feel a bit grounded. Thank you.
Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is briefly introduce a representative from the University of British Columbia, that is Michael Murphy, who is the Alumni Engagement Manager at the university, who's here to award Ashwani. Hello.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for your kind introduction, and thank you all for having me this afternoon. My name is Michael Murphy, and I'm the Alumni Engagement Manager for the Faculty of Education at UBC. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge that the University of British Columbia, the Vancouver Point Grey campus, is located on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Hunkaminam-speaking Musqueam people. As well, I'd also like to acknowledge that you're all joining from different regions near and far, and as such, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional caretakers of those lands and waters. Lastly, I would like to acknowledge that my home, where I'm currently working, is situated on the traditional, ancestral, unceded territory of the Hunkaminam Treaty Group, which represents 5 treaty groups, including Tsleil-Waututh, Stolo, Kwekwat, Stisamis, and Musqueam. To learn about the lands which you reside on, I recommend visiting native-land.ca. I am absolutely delighted to present this year's Alumni Educator of the Year Award on behalf of the UBC Faculty of Education. I should like to add that this year, the committee decided to award 2 recipients with this Alumni Educator of the Year Award. This award is given to individuals who have had a record of outstanding teaching practice, which includes evidence of student engagement and empowerment, incorporation of equity and diversity, and inclusion in their teaching and leadership within their organization. Having reviewed Dr. Kumar's nomination package alongside the committee, I can wholly say that he definitely demonstrates these important qualities and more. In addition to recognizing Ashwani's outstanding work at Mount St. Vincent University, it is my pleasure to award him with a $1,000 check for him to use at his discretion. Jamie, may I kindly ask you to present the plaque to Dr. Kumar?
Okay, I'll be calling James Corden. This is one of Ashwani's students who's currently a doctoral student here at the Mount and who nominated Ashwani. And I'll be calling Ashwani back up.
Hi everyone, my name is Jamie Caron. As Bonnie said, I'm a PhD candidate here at Mount St. Vincent, and I was the primary nominator on this award. And it's my pleasure to be a part of this nomination committee and to be able to take part in this award presentation today. First, the nomination would have been impossible without the committee. Dr. Susan Brigham, Tanya Harrison, and Nicole Bowes-Cashin. Thank you to each of you for helping me write the nomination letter, supporting this application, and for your collaboration in this process. A big thank you also needs to be extended to Bonnie, Diane Obed, I think I've seen you here today, Ian McLeod, who wrote wonderful letters of recommendation that were instrumental in this nomination process. Not to mention Bonnie and Ian's hard work on organizing this conference and making this award presentation possible today. I also want to thank Drs. Rita Irwin, William Pinar, Ewayne Ross, as well as Shamta Hunter for their endorsement of this nomination. Each of them were very quick to respond to me to support this nomination. So thank you to you folks. And finally, thank you to Michael Murphy, who's with us here today. You were very helpful in the process and quick to respond to all of my questions, so thank you very much. And I'll leave you folks with just a short story on why I felt compelled to nominate Dr. Ashwani Kumar for the UBC Alumni Educator of the Year Award. In 2015, that represents my first semester of my first year doing a BED here at the Mount. And Dr. Kumar was my social studies course instructor. At that time, I had not studied in several years, and I was new to education because I was studying and working in different business contexts at that time. So the social studies course to which I'm referring still stands out to me due to Ashwani's unique approach, which to me at the time felt like there was absolutely no structure in the course. Of course, I know that's not real, but that's how it felt at the time. Also his laid back and inviting demeanor, not to mention his genuine care for his students. And perhaps it's because I came from those competitive business environments, but I certainly remember feeling very supported and inspired in his course. And Ashwani has at the time, encouraged my colleagues and I to explore passions, no matter how distant they felt from education or education concepts. And he showed us that by following our innermost passions, we can achieve deep and meaningful learning. So I'm now partway through a PhD, and Ashwani has been a great mentor and a leader to me in my journey. And at the time of my BEd, I would have never imagined pursuing doctoral studies, but Ashwani's passion is contagious, and he inspires many of his students to follow their hearts. So I'm simply one of the many students, faculty, staff, community members that have benefited from Ashwani's commitment to teaching excellence, and I cannot think of a more deserving person for this award. So in closing, Ashwani, I want to extend you a big congratulations and thank you for hosting this evening. There's clearly much to celebrate here. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Thank you, everyone. I have a few words to say as well. Do you want to hold it? Sure. I also want to say a few thank yous. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Michael Murphy, who is representing Dean Jane here tonight, for his thoughtful remarks and for his time. When Michael informed me of this award, he wanted to deliver it where I'm with my colleagues and my students. And I mentioned to him about this conference and the cultural evening that we were organizing, and he thought it was a great idea. So here we are. Thank you. I'm truly honored to have received this award. I went to UBC between 2007 and 11 to do my PhD. The extraordinary UBC campus became my second home, and the Faculty of Education was a second family to me. The time that I spent at UBC is one of the most cherished times of my life thus far. I mentioned this during my conversation with my doctoral advisor, Bill Piner, during the conference. I'm not sure if any of you heard that, but I was talking about that. UBC and its Faculty of Education have given me a lot, amazing teachers and mentors, wonderful classmates, several of whom became my very close friends, funding to support my education, and beautiful place to live. I'm very grateful for the generosities, including this wonderful award. I would like to sincerely thank the adjudicators for their time and efforts in reviewing the nomination package and selecting me for this prestigious award. I would also like to thank very sincerely Jamie Karen for his efforts in preparing the nomination package and for his deep thoughtfulness. I would like to thank Dr. Susie Brigham, Tanya Harrison, and Nicole Boyce-Cashin, who served as additional nominators for the award. Many thanks also to my mentors, Drs. Rita Irwin, William F. Piner, and Ewan Ross, and my friend Shamta Hunter, who is a PhD candidate at UBC, for endorsing the letter of nomination. Last but not least, many thanks to Bonnie Peterson and Diane Obed and Ian McLeod for their wonderful letters of support for this award. I would like to thank all my family in India who have always supported me in endeavors, especially my mother Shakuntala Verma. I would also like to thank my wife Neha Acharya, who is herself a recipient of a teaching award from Dalhousie University, for her support in all spheres of my life, including her engagement with my philosophy of teaching and learning. Neha's parents, Mr. Jayant Acharya and Raksha Acharya, are here. They were so excited to hear the news of this award and the cultural evening that they decided to flew from Edmonton to Halifax. Thank you so much. Finally, and most importantly, I would like to thank all my teachers for sharing their knowledge and experience with me that made me who I am today. And I would like to thank all my students for engaging with me in meditative exploration of education and life. The UBC Faculty of Education's Alumni Educator of the Award comes with a $1,000 cash award, as Michael mentioned. I really thank the Faculty of Education for their generous gift. I have donated the award money to 4 organizations: Mi'kmaq Native Friendship Center, that aims to improve the lives of Mi'kmaq people living in an urban environment through social and cultural programming; Canadian Museum of Immigration at Pier 21, that shares the ongoing story of immigration to Canada, past to present and coast to coast to coast; Delmore Buddy Day Learning Institute, an Afrocentric institute that aims to create educational change and genuine opportunities for learners and communities of African ancestry to reach their full potential; and to Butterflies, an NGO in India that supports the education of the education for girls. I'm happy, thank you. I'm very happy to be able to support in this small way the amazing cultural and social justice-oriented work of these organizations. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure to now ask Ashley Julian Rakana to come up to the stage. And I'll just give a brief introduction of her as she's making her way over. As many of you maybe know already, she's a doctoral student in educational studies at Acadia University. Ashley is a Mi'kmaq community member of Ganengadik First Nation band, Indian Brook 14, and she will be playing the Native American flute.
Okay. Kwe everyone, Ipjilasi in my language means welcome. If we can try that, Ipjilasi, Ipjilasi. Great. So I've been playing the Native American flute now for about a decade. It's interesting how they became part of my life. I was actually at a convention and they were selling crafts, and this gentleman came up to me because I don't know what it was, my energy or how it came about, but he said, "Have you ever tried playing the flute?" And I was like, "Well, I played the recorder in middle school. Does that count?" And so that's where I picked up the flute, and he had gifted me this one here. So this was my first flute. This flute has now, it's been broken for about 5 years now, but I always bring it around. It's just a showcase. And the wood that the Native American flutes are made from are all different types of wood, and they each have their own different key. And each flute that I have here has its own story. This one here but the ironic part is I never remember the names of the people I come across. But this was hand carved by a log. If you can see the authenticity that comes with it. And then I have this 2-chambered flute, which can be very winded when you play this one because it requires a lot of air. And I really love this one, but I picked this one up in Sedona, Arizona, maybe, I think, yep. Or I can't really remember the name of the town, but I was just randomly vacationed and needed a place to stay, and I stayed there, and they had really amazing gift shops down in Arizona, because I had gone from Arizona into New Mexico and was just kind of hitting up every places, and that's where I picked up this flute. This is a brand new flute to me. I picked it up 2 days ago in Truro. It's just really tiny. It's a G minor, so it's a little pitchy, but I'm excited to just give it a go. I just ask everyone to, while I'm playing, just take a moment to find your gratitude, ground yourself, ask yourself, are your feet planted? Do you feel comfortable in your chairs? Is your shoulders up into your shoulders? Because, we carry a lot of tension in our days, and we tend to come home and we're like, gotta get supper done, And so I just ask that while I'm playing, that you find a sense of clarity and a sense of calmness. And as my friend always says, Mal with Mari, she just says, create your own calm, because we're the creators of our own destiny. And like what Ashwani teaches us is that we take our own moment and find your breath. Also, I don't play specifically any song. I just play by ear, and I've always enjoyed playing that way. This one can get very pitchy, so if it does, I'm just going to put it down and we'll go to the next. I find too that when you're really listening to the Native American flute, it's a wooing song. So sometimes if you feel like this sense of emotion come over you, it's natural. And because, you know, sometimes it brings joy to people's heart, other times it can bring emotion to you. And traditionally, from many ancient stories that I've heard, that the Cocobelly in the Arizona territory would go into communities and play the flute, and it was kind of known as like a troublemaker, a trickster, and he would woo all the ladies in, you know, meaning, you know, get all the ladies pregnant and then take off. And so there's quite some funny stories out there, and that one always kind of seems to resonate because a lot of people will come up to me and say, wow, your flute really moved me, or it really brought a lot of emotions over me, or I just couldn't stop weeping. And so I just remind people, like, whatever comes, you know, embrace it, because when we're listening to music, it tends to bring up a lot of energy and a lot of emotions, and we kind of use it. We use music for that, and we also use music to find that calmness as well. And I hope today that this brings you that gratitude and calmness. Woo-wee. Okay. Don't know if I can play another 10 minutes, but I got one more flute for you. I'm just going to take a minute. You can get very lightheaded. So I brought my daughter Mari, and if anything, babies teach you a lot of patience. And I used to tell Ashwani during class that when I put Mari down for a nap, it was the only time that I can find my mantra, because it was a time to step away from technology. It was a time to actually rest my feet and rest my head, and breastfeed her and repeat my mantra. And to me, I use breastfeeding as my meditation, and it worked, because now I find going about our day, she's more active. It becomes hard to take that time and space to create your mantra, to create your time to meditate, and to self-reflect. And I know that our days get so busy from morning to night that we forget that 20 minutes of scrolling could be your 20 minutes of quiet, could be your 20 minutes of grounding yourself. And so just a quick reminder to myself, as I remind everyone, that we all have 20 minutes, and it's less than 1% of our day. I really like this flute. This is one of my favorites. It's the hardest one to play, but it's still one of my favorites, and I love the sound. I've been looking for a smaller double chambered flute, because this one is very wide and spacious, so it takes a lot of air, I find. But I hope you guys are thoroughly enjoying the sounds that come from these Native American flutes. And it is a pleasure to be invited up here to play. And in my language, Walaliok, which means I'm thanking everyone here on behalf of our graduate class and on behalf of Ashwani. Thank you, everyone.
I think we can all agree that was like the most lovely brain massage after the last 3 days. So next up, we have Dr. Ashwani Kumar, Dr. Neha Acharya, and Dr. Ketan Kulkarni, who will be playing music for you. And so as they make their way up onto the stage, I will just start to introduce them. Ashwani obviously doesn't need much introduction here at this point. He's obviously the editor of this wonderful new book that has brought us all together tonight and over the last 3 days. As well, Dr. Acharya, Neha, his lovely wife and companion, has also authored a chapter in this book that we're all here together to celebrate. And lastly, we have Dr. Kulkarni, who is, among many things, a physician, clinician, researcher, passionate entrepreneur, learner, traveler, photographer, artist. They will be performing Indian classical music for us this evening.
Actually, that flute music was really amazing, wonderful. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and share with us. We will be sharing different shades of Indian music, Indian classical music with you. The songs that you will hear, I have composed them. I've written their lyrics and also composed their music. Neha will explain the meaning of the first song. We are also be putting up their translation for you so that you can understand what they mean.
So the first song is a song that I remember when Ashwani made this song, or when it came to him, he was really touched at the time, and when I first heard it, I was like, wow, I love that song too. So it goes well with the theme of the conference, which is Meditative Inquiry. So you can see the precise translations on the screen, but the basic gist of the song is an inquirer is asking themselves, why are you anxious? Why are you afraid when you've come here with nothing and you'll leave with nothing?
I've been having some allergy and sinus issues over the past couple of days, so hopefully it all works out. Ni sa dha ni sa ga, sa ga ma ga, pa ma ga, ni sa ga ma pa, ma dha pa, ga ma pa dha, ni dha ni pa, ga ma pa dha ni sa sa ni dha pa, dha ma pa ma ga, ma ga re sa. क्या है तेरा, क्यों पल पल पछताए मनवा, क्यों पल पल पछताए, काहे तू घबराए मनवा, काहे तू घबराए। क्यों रोता है, क्यों डरता है, क्यों रोता है, क्यों डरता है, बात बात पे क्यों लड़ता है, क्यों रोता है, क्यों डरता है, बात बात पर क्यों लड़ता है, काहे तू पगलाए मनवा, काहे तू पगलाए, काहे तू घबराए मनवा, काहे तू घबराए। Thank you.
So the next song that we wanted to share with you is in the style of a Corelli. So that's typical of Sufi music or mystic Islam, but it's still in Indian classical style. So again, you can see the translation more precisely on the screens, but the basic gist is that a seeker, like in all Sufi music, a seeker speaks to his or her beloved, which is the divine. And they're saying here that I have come to your door with nothing else.
Thank you. बस तेरा ही है अब आसरा। तू वली है, 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 तू ही अंबर और ज़मी है। तू वली है, तू वली है, तू वली है, तू वली है, तू ही अंबर और ज़मी है। तू ही मालिक, तू ही मुंसिफ, तू ही मेरा मौला। आ गया हूँ तेरे दर पर मैं खुदा, मुझको बस तेरा ही है अब आसरा। तू ही बंदों का मेहरबान, तू ही तो है निगहबान। आ गया हूँ तेरे दर पर मैं खुदा, मुझको बस तेरा ही है अब आसरा। ज़र्रे ज़र्रे में छिपा है, ज़र्रे ज़र्रे में छिपा है, ज़र्रे ज़र्रे में छिपा है, धड़कनों में तू बसा है। ज़र्रे ज़र्रे में छिपा है, ज़र्रे ज़र्रे में छिपा है, धड़कनों में तू बसा है। तेरे दर पर आके मैंने पा लिया है खुद को। आ गया हूँ तेरे दर पर मैं खुदा, मुझको बस तेरा ही है अब आसरा। तू ही बंदों का मेहरबान, तू ही तो है निगहबान। आ गया हूँ तेरे दर पर मैं खुदा, मुझको बस तेरा ही है अब आसरा। थैंक यू।
So the last of Ashwini's pieces that we were going to present is a more kind of full classical piece. So you'll hear a short theme that you'll come to recognize because it'll be repeated, and then variations that at the time that he was making it were spontaneous, but now we'll play for you as they came. And the song, again, the lyrics are up there, but the song's title is Satyam Shivam Sundaram. And I'm sure he was just explaining earlier today that they kind of, those three words kind of encompass Hindu philosophy, and they mean truth, beauty, and
Sacredness.
sacredness.
Thank you. Change key. Sa ga pa ga pa ni pa ni sa सा रे नी सा नी पा गा पा नी धा नी सा नी पा गा पा रे सा गा पा रे गा सा नमो शिवाय नमो शिवाय नमो शिवाय जीवन ज्योत जलाओ ध्यान करो प्रेम करो सृजन सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरं सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरं सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरं सुन्दरं शिवं सत्यं सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरं सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरं सत्य शिव है शिव सुंदर है सुंदर सत्य और शिव है सत्य शिव है शिव सुंदर है सुंदर सत्य और शिव है गपसा निरसा निपगा रे गरसा रे गरसा रे गरसा सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरं शिवं सुन्दरं सुन्दरं शिवं सत्यं सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरं सत्य जानो शिव को मानो सुंदरता को पहचानो सत्य जानो शिव को मानो सुंदरता को पहचानो सानी पगारी पगरे पागर सा रे गर सा रे गर सा रे गर सा सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरं सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरं तीनों रूप है एक ईश्वर के ईश्वर जीवन लक्ष्य है तीनों रूप है एक ईश्वर के ईश्वर जीवन लक्ष्य है सनि सा पग पा सनि सा पग सनि सा पग पा सनि सा प सनि सा पग पा सनि सा निरसा सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरं धा पा नि धा पा गा धा पा गा रे पा गा रे सा सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरम् धपनी पनि सा नि प ग रे सा नि सा सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरम् पा सा नि रे सा पा नि धा सा नि गा पा रे ग सा सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरम् सा पा रे सा नि पा नि ध नि सा नि नि पा ग प ग रे सा रे ग रे सा सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरम् प ध प ग सा नि प ग सा रे सा नि ध प ग रे सा रे ग रे सा सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरम् ग प ध प सा सा नि नि प प ग ग रे रे सा नि ध रे रे सा नि सा सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरम् नि नि ध नि नि सा नि नि प प प ग ग प ग रे सा नि सा सा नि ध प ग रे सा नि सा सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरम् सा ग प ध प ध प ध प ग प नि ध प ध प ध प सा नि सा प ग प सा नि सा ग प ध प ध प ध प सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरम् सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरम् सुन्दरं शिवं सत्यं सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरम् सत्य शिव है शिव सुंदर है सुंदर सत्य और शिव है सत्य शिव है शिव सुंदर है सुंदर सत्य और शिव है सत्य जानो शिव को मानो सुंदरता को पहचानो सत्यं शिवं सुंदरम् सा सा नि गा गा सा पा पा गा नि नि पा सा नि धा पा गा रे सा नि पा नि सा सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरम् सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरम् सुन्दरं शिवं सत्यं सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरम् सा गा pa ga pa ni pa ni sa ga pa ga pa ni pa ni sa ga pa ga pa ni pa ni sa ni pa ga pa ga re ga sa ni pa ga pa ga re sa ni pa ga pa ga re ga sa ga pa sa ni da pa ga re sa ga pa sa ni da pa ga re sa ga pa sa ni da pa ga re ga sa re ga re sa re ga re sa re ga re sa satyam shivam sundaram शिवं सुन्दरम् नीरसा 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 दासनी 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 पानी दा पानी दा पानी दा पानी दा पागरे सा पागरे सा पागरे सा 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 गा 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 पा 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 नी 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 नीरसा sa ni re sa da sa ni pani da pa ga re sa pa ga re sa satyam shivam sundaram sundaram shivam satyam satyam shivam sundaram om tanadir dirdir tana om tanadir dir tana tana dir tana mere na dire na yalali satyam shivam sundaram satyam shivam sundaram shivam satyam satyam shivam sundaram Namo Shivaya, 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 Namo Shivaya. Om 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 Thank you, everyone. We hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for that marvelous music. We're going to be serving dinner shortly. In fact, dinner is served. But before we do that, I'm going to try and draw everyone's awareness to gratitude for the food. In fact, before we do that, I could ask you to be grateful because originally I was going to get you to sing a blessing with me. So maybe some of you are grateful that I'm not going to do that anymore. But one of the things about saying a grace, saying a blessing on the meal, is that it bears understanding what you're saying, what you're being grateful for. So every plate is made intentionally. Every glass is made intentionally. It's filled intentionally. Every knife, every fork. And that's just the serving utensils. The tables they are served on. The dishes they are offered on. The people that brought them into this room. The people that cooked them. All of these people are preparing food, preparing utensils with intention for us to imbibe in nutrition. Then we come to the food, all of the ingredients, the cooks that prepared them. But the ingredients themselves, where they come from the land, the farm.
It was entitled Teaching as Meditative Inquiry, a Dialogical Exploration. It was written by him and another one of my profs. And so this poem, I included quotes from that article itself and mixed them with my own ideas. And so that's what you're about to hear. So I hope you enjoy this poem. Teach the curriculum is what I'm told. So how must I take on a practice that is so bold? Education has become so behavioristic and mechanistic, so cold and unrealistic. Students are limited to competition, measurement, and achievement, doing well on tests, getting into university, and finally getting a job. But it is their opportunity for a meaningful education which we rob. How can I nurture a learner as a whole? Their whole being, mind, body, heart, spirit, and soul. Perhaps I could design my courses in such a way that supports authenticity, humanistic relationship, dialogue, and creativity. But the school boards, parents, and students make me nervous. Some will say this is just a feel-good filler that doesn't encourage students to engage with rigor. But I believe I have a much bigger role, one that encapsulates the value of teaching a student as a whole. 3 principles are juxtaposed as the cornerstones of my teaching: freedom, creativity, and dialogue, all simple, yet far-reaching. These allow a willingness and a desire to learn, engage, and inquire. Dialogue is the way of being, the essence of education, freeing with so much meaning. Dialogic classrooms have unique goals that teach me to loosen my external controls. My role is to develop deeper relationships among and between students and I, and to learn as deeply as possible from classroom conversations that question why. True and transformative education must be rooted in real passion that understands and explores. If you want to find something meaningful in, sorry, I lost my place. True and transformative education must be rooted in real passion that understands and explores. If you want to find something valuable in life, call it truth or meditation, you have to look into yourself by means of reflection and investigation. These ideas must be spontaneous, existential, and meditative as a whole. Inquiry is an intuitive movement, moving from unknown to unknown tolls. If my self-reflection doesn't lead me to question, how can I live without knowing who I am? Or explore why I'm afraid? Or why I give a damn? What is the point of living? The most important thing in becoming an educator is to understand oneself and one's relationship to the world. Once we understand that, oppressive structures break down and are thrown into a whirl. The more we engage, the deeper we go. The more we begin to see that our conditioning is loosening and shifting to and fro. Our classrooms will change and will be bustling with dialogic exchange. Self-knowledge is gravely important, and deep inquiry is needed to understand oneself. But as we open our students to the world of dialogue, we allow them to see the beauty of seeing and listening that hides beyond the fog. Though teach the curriculum is what I'm told, through exploring this paper, I'm left feeling much more bold. While my style may make some students somewhat nervous in the beginning, the overwhelming value that is placed on the whole learner will be winning. And once they see my true interest in education, who they are and how they learn, the positives will be great and the negatives hard to discern. So be bold, I'm told. Focus on the learner as a whole. But remember, dialogue is not a tool, so please don't be fooled. What I am talking about is a way of being that has embraced dialogue, something that is not separate from you. This is more than an intellectual coming to. This is a holistic point of view. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emiyah. That was wonderful. And from a language arts teacher, I just really hope you're teaching language arts. Oh, great. And if we could just have everyone sort of settle down and just bring some quiet back to our space, I'll introduce the next performer, Sobaz Benjamin. As he makes his way to the stage, I'll just give you a little bit of his bio, but he's founder and executive director of In My Own Voice Arts Association, film director, and educator, among other accolades. This evening, he will be performing African drumming.
Hello. It's so wonderful to be here and to be invited to share. I wanted to really embody the words, the beautiful words and music that we've heard made me realize that for me, it's about becoming those things that we aspire to, those wonderful words that were on the projector during the performances. Wonderfully meditative and deeply felt. So for me, when I was coming here today, I was thinking, what am I going to play? And I was like, of course, I'm not going to play anything. The drum is going to play me. And I needed to open myself up to that. And I hope you'll enjoy it. It's a West African drum, Djembe. It means gathering. That's why I wanted us to commune together for a moment. And I'll play one more selection, or one or two more selections. Maybe I'll bring you in. We'll see where the drum leads us. I wonder if you recognize this beat. One of the things that we were talking about at the table that I was sitting at before was about African rhythms. This is a West African drum. Places like Guinea, Burkina Faso, Sierra Leone, Ghana, Nigeria. This drum is native to the ancient kingdom of Mali, and which is now broken up into, obviously, it's no longer a kingdom as a sole entity. But this drum really, for me, is a meditation also. And it's interesting, the First Nations flute player, I was telling her how much I loved her music, and the wood, this is also handcrafted drum, Lenke hardwood, West African drum. This is goat skin, and the ropes you see here tune the djembe. And so it's interesting, all of the, and I hear the tabla, and anyway, just such a grounding for me to be able to sort of listen to sounds that are ancient and wonderful. So anyway, but see if you recognize this tune. And you can join in. Who said it? Who said it? Keep going with me. There it is. Keep it going. No matter what I do, keep it going. Well done. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sobaz. That was so wonderful. Yeah, great energy. So lastly, this evening, we have one more performance. His name is Arrol Subaya, and he is a music composer known by his stage name Arrol Corelli, working in the Southern Indian film industry, and is a multi-instrumentalist settled here in Halifax. We're very lucky to have him with us here tonight, so I'm going to welcome him to the stage.
Good evening, everyone. So I'm going to be performing a song in Indian classical. So it's in Desh Rag, and it's basically a patriotic film. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Yeah, I remember that vaguely. It's been a long time since I'll play something else. This is basically an English notes, so it's based in Indian classical again, but with a Western flavor. Thank you.
I feel so lucky for us that we got to experience that. That was so wonderful. Thank you so much. I'll just say on behalf of the conference team, thank you so much. Thank you to our attendees. Thank you to our tech team who've worked really hard this last couple days. Thank you to all the people who provided the food for us tonight and who worked to help us have a really enjoyable evening. And big thank you to all the performers, Ashley, Emiyah, Sobaz, Ashwani, Neha, Ketan. Am I missing anybody? Is that it? Oh my gosh, Arrol. Yes, well, of course. That was wonderful. Again, thank you so much.
First of all, I would really like to express gratitude for funding, the funding that supported the conference and the cultural evening. The funding came from Shirk Exchange Grant and also from Dean Anthony Card. Thank you. Second, my sincere appreciation to all the performers. It was amazing. I thought it would be, I was imagining it would be good, but I wasn't imagining, like I had no idea that it would be this good. It was really fun, a lot of fun. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You know, oftentimes I just imagine and I try to do things and see where it goes. Sometimes it goes really good, so thank you. Many thanks to Bonnie and Ali for running the conference and this cultural evening. They have been working tirelessly. Thank you so much. A huge thanks also to Ian and his friend Josh for video recording this event. Thank you so much. And thanks also to Erica McLean for taking pictures very seriously, and I think she's going to develop a hobby out of it, the way she's taking the pictures. Thank you so much, Erica. A big thank you to Greg Pretty, multimedia supervisor, for ensuring all our tech requirements were met. He spent a lot of time. And also thanks to our technicians, Joel and Patrick, for helping us out with the event. I think it was very well done. Thank you so much. Sincere thanks to conference services, especially the manager, Jill Hurlbert, and her staff for their exceptional help in organizing this event. And last but not least, many thanks to Heather Richards and Janice Faulkner and the staff at the Chartwell for the wonderful meal. Thank you, everybody, and have a good night.